David Moyes has mentioned on quite a few occasions now about this new West Ham that he's creating and how this club is seen and how we operate and how we go about our business. And to be fair to him, yeah, we certainly have advanced in the last few seasons. All right, last season in terms of domestically, it was very difficult, but we have progressed as a football club. There's no denying that. We've had some decent seasons of late, and prior to Sunday, it's been a pretty positive start to the Premier League season. And on the European front, it's not been bad at all. But I think that Aston Villa game, let's be honest, was not only very disappointing overall in every department, but it was just that stark reminder that the old West Ham is still there. In my opinion, just this soft underbelly, the failure to live up to the expectation, the failure to rise to the occasions. Now, it's really strange because, you look at the European side of things, which is, let's be honest, amazing. Been an amazing time the last few seasons. We're in it again, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. Of course, we've got Olympiacos coming up on Thursday night and something to really look forward to. But we seem to handle ourselves very different in Europe. I don't know what the reason is, but it seems like it's almost like it's in our DNA. It's almost like we can handle the occasions, we can handle the pressure, we can handle the atmospheres, everything. We just seem so well equipped to deal with it. I don't know whether it's the style of football. I don't know whether it's just the pressures a little bit different. We just seem to be able to conduct ourselves so much better, so much more professionally. But yet when it comes to the Premier League, when we're given opportunities, we just seem to squander them. We just don't ever seem to live up to the expectation and seem to have that ruthless cutting edge to go on that pitch and get a result. Going into that Aston Villa game on Sunday, West Ham had an opportunity to go fifth in the Premier League, fifth after 9 games played, knowing that Everton at home were following. So, I mean, I'm certain that the players were discussing this. I've certainly been discussing it, and I'm sure other West Ham fans have been too, that if we'd beaten Villa, we'd been on 17 points, and beaten Everton, you'd then be on 20 points. 20 points after 10 games. That would have been... I would have just been so hungry going on that pitch to go, we've got to get the 3 points in this game. Got to. This is a great opportunity for the club. But we failed. We really failed. We didn't play well. We struggled. I mean, apart from the opening 15, 20 minutes, we looked okay. Lacked cutting edge throughout the game. But we were pinging the ball around okay. We looked like we were up for it. But once that period passed, we weren't, and we weren't at it at all. Big performers went hiding. And it was just a really all-round poor performance. It was very difficult to really get any positives out of it, I found anyway. I mean, I know I've tried to sort of sleep on it a little bit and look back and reflect. And I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of being it's an absolute disaster, get rid of the manager. This is, I don't want to go down that path. I don't think that's necessary at this stage. But I just think that you look at that performance overall, it just lacked a team hungry. And... that, as I say, it goes back to David Moyes' quote of saying, this new West Ham, I want to create this new West Ham. But that is West Ham of old. That is the old West Ham style, just getting swept aside by a team that were just more up for it, more up for the occasion. And I don't know why we're not. I don't know what it is. As I say, that when you watch West Ham go and play in Europe in really tough circumstances, hostile atmospheres, and yet we can handle ourselves very well. We play very well. We get the game plan right. We're ruthless with how we go about our business, but yet we go on the domestic front in Premier League, and we just seem to lack it. I mean, you've only got to go back. I'm not talking about just playing the bigger sides or teams that are playing well. I'm talking about games that realistically you look at and think we could have got a result there. If you remember back, I always compare this season to that 2020-2021 season when we finished 6th, the COVID season. And if you remember that season, even though we were so good, when it got to the crunch, when it got to those final few games when we could have got top 4, we bottled it. There's no mistake. We bottled that. We could have got 4th. We were 3 points off 4th. We went away to Newcastle. And bearing in mind, Newcastle were not the Newcastle that we're dealing with this season. Very different. They were struggling. They weren't in the same league as they are now. And we were flying. And we lost. And I think we were 2-0 down, came back 2-2, then we lost 3-2. We couldn't handle it. I remember at the end of, was it 2021-2022 season, the year we qualified for the Europa Conference League, we could have got Europa League. Europa League was literally there for us to take in, and we got battered at Brighton. I remember Moyes being absolutely furious about it at the end of the game. Again, just a total showing again, another display of West Ham just not being able to live up to the occasion, just downing tools, really. And it's so frustrating. It's a real worry, actually, because it does make you feel that that's the big difference. You look at these bigger sides, and as much as we sort of don't want to admire them, you have to admire them in that regard because they're just ruthless about how they go about their business. That's why they're always up there competing. It's why Liverpool's, the Man Cities, the Arsenals, and all these teams are always up there fighting because they've just got that way about them that they go on into games knowing that they're going to get, it's a great opportunity for that football club, and they're just going to go about their business and get it done. With West Ham, we just don't have that. We just do not have it. Don't get me wrong, we have progressed. I'm not sitting there slagging the club. I'm going, it's a, as I say, it's not a disaster. We still handle games well. We handle, especially the teams that are struggling. We seem to be doing pretty well with. We do seem to beat teams that are below us quite often, more often than not, home and away as well. But Aston Villa was a real gauge of where we are this season. It was a real test to see where West Ham are really going to end up in this campaign, and to be swept aside that easily is a worry. It makes you just think, well, are we really up for the challenge here? And on that evidence, it's a big no. Like, you look at everything, we are not ready to compete. We're not ready for top 6 challenging at the moment, or top 4. We're just nowhere near it. Because you can't do that. You cannot go there and perform like that against a side that are, all right, fighting for you. I'm not taking anything away from Villa, by the way. Aston Villa were really good. We fully deserved the 3 points. I don't know whether I'd say the scoreline flattered them. I did say that, and someone jumped on my throat the other day when I mentioned it. But I just felt that, yeah, maybe it slightly did, but it's still from West Ham. It's just really disappointing. I went into that game believing that we were going to see a real resolute West Ham performance. And if in the opening 10, 15 minutes, or maybe even 20, I did think, yeah, we're going to get some goals there. We're going to score. But we just gave up. You could see we were down in tools. We just weren't up for the occasion. We bottled it. We really did bottle it. And David Moyes, I mean, I wouldn't say David Moyes now, well, he's under major pressure. I wouldn't say he's under major pressure at the moment. I don't think so. I think, overall, it's been a good start to the season, and we've got a real big run of games coming on. But these run games, the next 8 Premier League games, are absolutely critical for our season. Massive. I mean, they are all games that we can get results in. Tottenham away, of course, very, very tough. I mean, they're doing so well this season, painfully so, but they are, and that's going to be very hard. But having said that, we've got a fair few games before Tottenham, so we could go to that ground. We'd go to White Hart Lane, and we could be right up for it. But I'll tell you what, these next few games for David Moyes are massive. Thankfully, we've got European football. I keep saying that European football, weirdly, has become like our saviour. It's become something that it's almost like, thank God it's coming up. We're going away to Greece. Oh, thank God we've got an opportunity. Because I just always feel confident when we're in Europe. We just seem to deal with it very, very well. I know I'm completely jinxing this now and we're going to get battered. But you know what I mean? Most of the time in Europe, we seem to handle it well. It seems to serve us well. And it's big this week. It really is, because we need to draw a line under that Villa performance and result fast. We need to put it to bed and get it out of the mind, because, and that's what I'm trying to do myself, really. I don't want to really just dwell on it too much. But it is a worry. My worry is that West Ham's, it's not leaving us this bottle job feeling in the league. We're just not going to live up to and beat the big teams. For instance, like, let's just forget it was Aston Villa. Let's put another team there. Let's say it was Man United away. Man United away have started, Man United have started the season poorly, really. For their standards, they're not really at it. But I wouldn't trust West Ham to go there and get a result. I really wouldn't. When the pressure's on, when there's something up for grabs, it's always when something's up for grabs. It's always when there's a big prize at the end. Now, 5th place after 9 games would have been amazing. Can you imagine looking at that league table now? We'd have been rubbing our hands together for Sunday to face Everton. And now it's going into Everton thinking, well, we've got to win now to try and get back on track a little bit. And it's so frustrating that we've bottled it. And again, I'm not trying to take them away from Villa, because I thought Villa played really well, fully deserved the win, and they are looking very, very good. But I'll tell you what, these next 8 games, Premier League games, are massive. So we've got Everton at home, then followed by Brentford, Forest, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Spurs, Fulham and Wolves. Now, Out of those 8 games, I would say I'm expecting 6 wins. And I really mean that. Like, I expect West Ham to win at least 6 of those games. I really do. West Ham have got to get the points in those games. They are crucial. Because if West Ham can get the points necessary in those games, that Villa game will be forgotten fast. It'll be long gone. We won't worry about it too much. And as I say, we can go into that Spurs game. Before the Spurs game, you've got 5 games. Everton, Brentford, Forest, Burnley and Palace. We can win all those games. We can win all of them. I'm not saying we will, but we can. And we can go to Spurs then with our towels up. And they won't fancy us. They will not fancy playing West Ham if West Ham go into that kind of form. So it's big. David Moyes has got to get it right. Because I'll tell you what, he talks about new West Ham. He talks about character. But we saw our character against Villa. And it ain't good enough. Not if you want to mix it with the big teams. If you really, really are serious about being top 6, top 4, you cannot go against your rivals and just roll over. I thought those days were gone. In the preview before the Villa game, I'd said that we're not soft touch anymore. I said that West Ham are not a soft touch. We will not go there and roll over. And it's exactly what we did. I was absolutely stunned, really, really annoyed like everyone else was, fuming about it. But I'm not going to dwell on it. Like a lot of the players, Jared Bowen's come out and said, I don't think we need to worry about this too much. I don't think we need to get too carried away. But there's no two ways about it. David Moyes has got to get these next 8 games right because, my word, they are massive for this club.